And that breaking news is here in San Francisco, where the police chief announced he is stepping down. Bill Scott telling his staff earlier this morning that he will soon be moving on to another job outside of SFPD. Thanks so much for joining us here for Midday Live. I'm Julian Glover.
And I'm Gloria Rodriguez. Mayor Daniel Lurie and Police Chief Bill Scott spoke at a press conference that just wrapped up a little bit ago. Scott is set to take a job with another police department, but it wasn't clear where that was.
ABC 7 News reporter Monica Madden was at that announcement. She's joining us live now. Monica, what did the police chief have to say, and what do we know about who will replace Bill Scott in the interim?
Julian, that is the big question. People are all wondering where Chief Scott will go, although in the press conference he didn't say where specifically, just that he accepted another opportunity. Sources tell ABC 7 News that that is going to be the chief of police in another jurisdiction, so we're standing by for more information on that, which we think will be coming later today. Now, at times during this announcement, Chief Scott even got emotional, choking up when he was talking about his wife and the decision that they made to come to San Francisco almost 30 years ago.
We didn't know anything about this town except for I wanted to be here because it is that kind of city. And when this opportunity came, without hesitation, the first thing she said is, you always wanted to live there.
At 8 years, Scott is the longest serving chief in SFPD history. This, of course, comes months into Mayor Daniel Lurie's first term, in which public safety has been the top priority. Lurie had high praise for Chief Scott's service, attributing the city's decreasing crime rates to Scott's leadership. Now, the chief will stay on with the department until June, but starting on Monday, Paul Yep, the mayor's public safety czar, will serve as interim chief of SFPD. Yep is a former commander with the department. He says, though, he will not be a candidate to take over as the next permanent police chief of San Francisco, and will only be here for the interim for about the next 6 weeks or so.
I'm honored that Mayor Lurie has offered me this opportunity, and I am 100% committed to keeping this department on the right track and serving as a bridge to our next chief.
Starting on Monday, Yep will take over officially as interim chief. We are still waiting for more information about who will be the next permanent chief. Of course, Yep saying he is not interested in that position. No word either yet on whether the city will be looking for someone outside of the department or internally for the next leader of San Francisco's police department. Live in San Francisco, Monica Madden, ABC 7 News.
We'll have to see how long that search lasts for the next permanent chief there. Monica, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We first told you about this story on the ABC 7 News mobile app and streamed the announcement to you live. You'll want to stick with us throughout the day online and on air for the very latest on this breaking story. So let's get to more on what this announcement means for the future of San Francisco and the San Francisco Police Department.
Yeah, and I know we're going to be talking with ABC 7 News insider Phil Matier. And so, Phil, thank you so much for joining us live this morning. So first of all, I know you always get the inside scoops, and I'm curious, have you gotten any kind of indication as to where he might be going?
No, there's a protocol involved here. You say goodbye and then you announce where it is you're going, because remember, other people were trying for that job. But already most of the attention has shifted off Bill Scott, who has been one of the longest serving police chiefs and in San Francisco's history, and on to Paul Yep, who is going to be taking over right now, at least temporarily. Paul is a former commander. He has both extensive police experience and political experience, because one of his tours of duty was at Central Police Station, which is North Beach and Chinatown, two very high tourist, high-profile positions. He was also an early supporter of Daniel Lurie. After having retired from the SFP Police Department, he was working on the Lurie campaign, advising him on public safety matters, and so he sort of became the go-to guy for the mayor. When the mayor came into office, he put him in charge of public safety. And although Paul Yep says he's not a contender for that job, I've got to tell you, he's still on the list of that people look at because he's so well qualified.
Okay, we'll have to see who else is on that short list in the short term. I want to talk about a little bit more about Chief Bill Scott's his tenure with the San Francisco Police Department. As you mentioned, Phil, 8 years. He touched 3 different administrations, Ed Lee, Mayor Breed, and at least the beginning of Daniel Lurie's term here. A lot of big ups and downs within the city of San Francisco, the smash and grabs, the retail crime. How do you think his tenure will be remembered?
Well, it's going to be remembered as a roller coaster, as you aptly point out. When he took over in San Francisco's police department, you have to remember those were the days of defund the police. That was following the shooting of Mario Woods by a man armed with a knife who was shot by a number of police officers. It was caught on video. It went national. It was a real bone chiller in the Bay Area. And he replaced Greg Sir, and it was a tumultuous time. San Francisco has changed since then. When Bill Scott came in, you might recall, we didn't use cameras that much. We didn't use license plate readers, and we definitely weren't using drones as anti-crime. There were concerns about people's civil rights, about privacy. San Francisco wasn't the same place. And I think that Bill Scott's sort of quiet demeanor, although some people criticized it, saying he wasn't effective enough, kind of guy. His quiet demeanor helped usher through a sea change in policing in San Francisco, brought it much more up to date. And that, along with the recall and replacement of Chesa Bodine as the district attorney, sort of turned the battleship away from the image of San Francisco as lawless to one now of more law and order. So it's going to be back and forth on that.
Phil, when Mayor Daniel Lurie came into office, there was a lot of speculation about Police Chief Scott's future. So do you think this is a result of that new administration, new chief, or do you think it's just he got another better job?
Well, it's hard to get a better job than San Francisco. I think it's the highest paid police chief in the United States. But he has 8 years there. That's unprecedented. And usually new mayors coming in pick their own police chief because it is probably the most significant appointment you make. Okay, that your administration can hang on how people perceive public safety, especially these days. And crime is going down, so they're going to look to continue that and change the image of that. Bill Scott knew that Daniel Lurie was going to be looking for a replacement, and he went and made his own deal as well. The second in command, David Lazarus, also announced he was leaving a little while ago. So there's a change going on in the police department that we're going to have to see. There'll be a national search. That's going to take time, and they're going to whittle it down to 3 names. That's handed to the police commission. The police commission then hands that to those 3 names to the mayor. One of the reasons why it took Bill Scott a while to exit and for this to go through is that police commission was not favorable to Daniel Lurie when he was first elected. There were some progressives on there that he didn't particularly agree with. He has since replaced them. He has a commission that is more in tune with them. He can trust them to select 3 people as a replacement and not have sort of the incidents we saw in Oakland when they had such tumultuous police chief changes.